So it's a new day and we have our engine pulled out of the back of the shed and we've taken off the subframey cross-member thing, whatever it is, that looks a lot like the Lancer one.
Well, it is a Lancer one.
Oh yeah.
So that's probably why.
There's a problem with this engine, and that is it has air conditioning, which we clearly don't need because of race car. But Alan, how are we gonna belt? Because if we get rid of that, this belt doesn't fit, right?
No. So we just chop the belt off and remove the compressor, and we'll just reroute it so it goes through here. We'll keep that because then you've got like you need half the pulley to drive properly. If we got rid of that and went straight down here, we wouldn't have much drive surface.
Yep.
So we'll keep that idler and just go straight through here. So the best way to measure to get your new belt, what I do is just cut the old belt in half.
Yep.
Delete what you're going to delete, and then overlap the belt, and then cut it where it overlaps, so that's your size.
Yep.
And then open it up and measure it with the tape.
And that's how if you buy like this is what, a 6 PK, because it's got 6 ribs.
Yep.
And it'll be like a 11, whatever,
maybe
70 or something.
Yeah.
And that's the millimetres.
Yep, that's just your millimetre length. So if you use a bit of string or something like that, it's very hard to get the proper length because it's got to go through, the ribs have got to go into the rib grooves and stuff like that. And just, the belt's useless anyway because it's not going to fit anymore, so you just cut it and use that as your measuring stick.
Cool.
So that's the easy way to do it.
Chop it, man.
So the only catch is, because it's got an automatic tensioner, when you measure it, you have to pull the tensioner away because otherwise it won't be accurate.
And then you just, get a texture or something and mark there?
I just put my finger on it and then cut it off.
That's so just a little bit of tension like that, and she's good?
Yep.
Cool.
Now cut that bit off.
Your choppers. Like so. They're really good. Wow. And then we measure this.
And then we just measure that.
Oh, your tensioners. There's our new belt length. Although we need one that's joined. Six PK.
Bullet.
1540.
Sounds good.
6 PK 1540.
Now write it down.
Okay, I will.
First up, we're heading to Super Cheap Auto to grab some supplies. And maybe some kebabs on the way home. We're going to pick up our new accessory belt, and to help his hand, I'm going to get Al some gloves that he probably won't use. We also need an oil filter, some engine oil and gearbox oil ready to go in the car before we fire it up, assuming we get that far. Back at Al's shed, we can begin stripping down the 4G69, and the aircon compressor is going directly in the bin.
Weight saving.
See that big lump there, Martin?
What, this?
Yeah, that's a balance shaft.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it on a cog or something?
It's on the timing belt drive.
Oh, so it's like a big separate thing.
Yeah, because four-cylinder inline engines have what's called secondary vibration.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of four-cylinder engines are horrible buzzy things like 3SGEs and those horrible MR2 motors and SR20s, like they literally look at them and they're vibrating.
Yeah,
That's a natural secondary vibration.
I can't tell sometimes in Supergrams if the engine's on.
Yeah, that's because it's a six-cylinder.
Yeah,
Six-cylinders don't have it. They're one of the smoothest engines.
And Benny Stagia, is that the motor that they put, or was it one you said they put a glass of water or a coin on something and it doesn't move?
Yeah, so the more cylinders, the less vibes you get, but four-cylinder inlines are bad for it. So they use balance shafts to cancel the secondary vibration out.
I thought that was just something stuck to the end of the crank. It's actually like a whole separate...
It's a separate thing with balance weights on it to cancel out that vibration.
People delete them. I mean, I'm not going to, but they do. I guess to save weight and rotating mass and all that,
if you're revving it to 11 and you can't delete them, but it does do a job. Makes the engine nicer. Boot kit's very cheap.
Yeah.
Relatively easy to replace, depending on how accessible the actual rack is, but it's obviously really easy to get at in this case. Yeah.
So tie rod's got to come off, right? And you don't want to mess that up because if you do, you ruin your alignment.
Because that's what they used to do the toe in.
Yeah,
right?
correct. So the tie rod end has to come off, which is this.
Yep.
That's called a rack end.
Yep.
They call it a rack end when it's on a rack. They call it a tie rod end when it's on a steering
rod.
box.
Got it.
So, yeah, we got to crack this nut to loosen it.
Yep.
But we need to measure the distance between that nut and the end of the thread so we can put it back on the right way.
Yep.
That way you don't have to get a wheel alignment.
Yep. That's
So-
good because the wheel alignment's good. Like it sticks.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to not have to change it.
So it is doable without getting a wheel alignment. You just have to use your, a bit of measuring and put it back together correctly, and it's fine.
I'm going to crack the nuts. You can watch and tell me if I do it wrong because that's probably quite hard to do single-handedly. This maintenance stuff is nowhere near as exciting as dropping in a big block engine, but it's also only 10 minutes of work now, or more like 2 hours work later on when everything is installed in the car and in the way. By measuring the length of our rack ends, we can make sure the alignment is unchanged. Then it's simply a matter of the thrashed out rubbers coming off and sliding some new ones on in place. Some cable ties help hold everything together. With our rack boots fixed, we can move on to our shifter. Part of the problem I had with this, and one of the reasons I think that motor might have gone, is because the shifter was so vague. Like the shifter's that long, which is my fault because there's a screwdriver on it, but still, like it's long anyway. Yeah. And it definitely doesn't feel as nice as that. But you can grease that up too, right? Like that's a bit smashed, but just re-grease it and go again.
Spray a bit of spray grease in there, so
cool.
Should be fine.
All right, so got to go inside the car to get the old one out, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Might fix that. I can't wait to drive it again. It's gonna be good. And it feels good, like it's a nice seat, nice steering position. It's got a roll cage, it's got the pads, all the gear. Cheap track car. I mean, you could, especially considering you could buy this car for $500, I reckon, with like a day's rego on it. And you could buy that motor for what we pay, $400, plus some bits, service item stuff that you have to buy no matter what car you get. A cage is a bit over $1,000 probably, or even less actually, I think, if you put it in yourself. Good tyres, some brakes, that's it. Even NA, these things make over 100 kilowatts. So
Throw it in there.
yeah, throw it in naturally aspirated. We're doing it a bit differently because the wiring, because we're going to rewire it for a Haltech, because we have the Haltech, we might as well use it, and we've got the wideband and everything. But if you're going NA, you can use a wiring them off I think it's a 4G93, which is the 1.8 litre that came in this car. And the motors are so similar, you can plug them in like a couple extra wires, a different alternator plug, and away you go. That's the ultimate way to do this, really on the cheap. The old shifter first needs to be unbolted from the transmission tunnel and also the firewall on the inside. An epic stereo install from 2Sexy's past life means there's extra metal attached to the dash that's getting in the way. With that chopped, it can be fed back out through the engine bay and we can check it next to the new one to make sure it's going to work. Mitsubishi must have nailed it with the original design, as there's hardly any differences at all, meaning the newer CH Lancer version will bolt straight in. With the shifter sorted, we can now start to prep our 4G69 for its first test fit into 2Sexy's engine bay. We're going to remove all the wiring, plugs and sensors, as they'll need to be completely reworked. So mad tip I got from Woody, because you don't want to lose this little sort of retaining clip, is to put the plug back on and then push it down, and then it stays in the plug and you don't lose it. And then when you go to put that on, it'll just clip straight back in. I'm going to do it, aren't I? I'm going to be the guy. Yeah, I thought so.
Too sexy!
We've reinstalled the front to rear engine support bracket back onto the engine to help locate it in the bay. Being that our original 4G15 driver's side upper engine mount won't fit, we've ordered one from an Evo, which with some minor adjustments to the studs will fit this car, further proving that 2Sexy is actually an Evo.
Why'd we do that? Because these two bolt holes will fit that mount.
Yep.
It's just reverse, so that hole's, the third hole's here.
Right.
So if we take that out, that mount will most likely bolt on there.
Cool.
At least just for the purposes of holding it up there
Holding
until
the
we get the Evo mount.
Got it. The plan of attack is to get the engine into position and then drop the car down on top of it. We'll then use an engine crane to pull it into the correct spot and support it from underneath to then bolt it in.
I am putting these cross tube things back in. And I've got these two really long bolts that need to line back up. They may or may not, because right now they don't exactly. But it's only hanging on one mount very softly at the moment, so it can move. Maybe a pry bar or something just to wiggle it.
So that's moved a bit.
It's supposed to just bolt straight in, but it's half a hole out. And I can't, like I can't pull it forward, because even when I try and pull it, because of where the motor sits, it's just wrong. So the trick now is to get this cross member that goes from the front of the back of the car to line up. So we were told that you've got to rotate one of these mounts, but we don't actually know which one it is yet. And the only way we can tell is by trying to get this connected in and then see where the engine sits. At that moment, the tensioner for the belt's rubbing on the engine rail. So we're going to see if we can just attach it and get our idea. We're missing the top driver's side mount, which means we can't line it up off that either. We're waiting for that to arrive. It should be here either this afternoon or tomorrow. So we're going to bolt this in, see where it all sits. That also lets us start to plan out where everything else is going to go. So it'll save us a little bit of time later. How will we know if it's not right?
Wait until we get the other mount.
And then it'll tell us. That looks like a 2.4 litre mounted in a CE Lancer to me.
So the 4G15 engine is obviously smaller because it's a smaller capacity engine. So that mount is longer here than this one. So the engine's bigger and comes closer to the rail. So the theory is the Evo mount has the right spacing and then the right bolt pattern as well. So that's obviously, that's reversed. So we just have to wait till it gets here.
It looks like it's meant to be there.
Yeah, it fits pretty good, eh?
Yeah, it's I mean, we're missing our mount, so when our Evo mount shows up, we'll be a proper Evo, a big block 2.4 litre Evo.
BBM.
But you know what? I reckon this is an awesome swap, even naturally aspirated. What? Turbo there. Are we going to turbo it? No comment. What? Why does it go at the bumper? What's that about?
It's an Evo. Haven't you not watched the internet?
Clearly not.
Hats and Evos with turbos out the bumper. That's what's on the
Turbos
internet.
out the bumper?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Where does your air filter
That's
go?
where Evos, that's how they work.
Where does your air filter go?
What air filter?
But what if a rock hits it? Your turbo only engine's dead.
That'd be fine.
It'd be fine. All right.
Like a
Yeah,
glove.
man. And you reckon just a big manifold thing all in this? There's a lot of space, isn't there?
Yeah, it is. It's
And if we get like a Honda radiator, would the radiator go there?
good. Yep. It's about the only thing that's good in Hondas.
Is their little half radiators? Right, and do we just attach it and work our way out and figure out where it's going to go?
Yeah, we just do like a big Hecker's manifold.
How's it go?
It's like
What does that mean? Will it have a gooch?
all the pipes wrapping around each other. No, it'll have a merge collector.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like done properly?
Yeah.
Do you have a merge collector?
Yeah.
That's like multiple gooches when you think about it.
With our strategy meeting wrapped up and minutes noted down, it's time to get stuck into rewiring this newer engine to work in the old CE Lancer.
K-swap. This is a K24, isn't it? This is the K24 of the Mitsubishi
Same
world.
thing.
This is the old loom.
Yeah.
And what do we need out of here?
So it's got the wiper motor in it. So that's got to come out of it for a start, and there'll probably be some power supplies and a few things as well.
That's that stuff, isn't
So
it?
this sort of stuff that joins the body will go somewhere.
Yep. 3 plugs? Two plugs? 3 plugs?
No, that's at earth junction.
Oh, right.
So we'll just cut it open and just pull out stuff.
And we won't need really any of this, will we?
That's the wiper motor.
Oh, cool. We need that bit.
I think that's some stuff we don't need.
That's the same as what's already on the car. Those 2 plugs.
That might
One of
be
those
the
O2
speed sensor. Speed and reverse, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll keep them.
Yep.
But anyway, I'll just cut it open and have a look first, because that's the easiest way to find out what you're looking at.
Cool. And then we overlay that stuff onto our other loom.
We'll do the same thing to the other one, because it's also got the wiper motor for
Yep.
the other car in it, so
Yep.
we'll cut that out
Yep.
and cut out all the stuff that doesn't need to be there, because it's not going to be as complex as a factory engine management system. So we'll remove stuff out of that, and
Cool.
yeah.
Chop this, other loom, chop other loom, join looms, tape on, wait for our plug-in pin to arrive for our
Yep.
computer, plug that on, plug, turn the key, start.
Skid.
Skid.
Rather than making a completely new loom from scratch, we're doing what's known as a loom splice or overlay. It's where you strip back the old engine loom and the new engine loom to their most basic, keeping only the bits that you need. You end up with ECU plugs on one end and the sensors, injectors and ignition components on the other, as well as a handful of accessories that the factory may have chosen to add in, like wiper motors or air conditioning controls. There's a full video about this process on our second channel, MCM TV2. Some good news, while we're doing some wiring, our engine mount arrived. This mount sits a lot closer to the rail and where it sort of sits in the car, so with that, sort of the missing piece to get our engine mounted properly in the bay. Like a glove. Those ones should work. So we just got to wind them out. That one will already come out. But there's a couple others we need to get our hands on too. And it should work. We're extracting the studs from the 4G69 and then reusing the original 2 sexy engine ones as they're longer and fit the Evo mount. Of course they do. The trick now is to loosely attach all the engine mounts and make sure the engine and gearbox sit correctly in the bay, which would be fine except for the disgusting smell coming from the air compressor. Woody, what are you doing, dude? What is that?
Oh, the compressor broke. Hang on a second.
Oh, you alright?
That's so. Oh. Oh, that is so bad, man. It's like.
What is it though? What's in it?
So the compressor stopped working, and there's been this bit of a stench coming from the shed for a little while, so I decided to investigate only to find a snake.
Oh, the snake's in the compressor. Oh shit. Oh, that's gross, man. Why would a snake want to have a home in a compressor? It looks kind of dangerous.
Oh, I can still smell it. Ah!
Oh, snake meat. Oh. Hey, people eat that, dude. Oh, it's, that stinks so bad.
Oh, I can still smell it through this, man.
It's probably worse in there. Next time, when the evolution of Too Sexy continues, we get our big block 4-banger ready for boost with an oil drain in the sump, we get our wiring in order, and fit the drive shafts that will soon send shooting into outer space with the crazy panty-dropping power of this mighty Evo.